Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're looking at the invisible weight of feeling. Well, absolutely everything, especially when the rest of the world seems totally fine. You didn't choose this, right? You didn't just wake up one morning and decide a stranger's offhand comment would replay on your head for 3 days straight. But for a specific group of people, that is exactly how life operates. So today, we're unpacking the architecture of high sensitivity to map out what's really going on beneath the surface.
Starts with a question. Are you just too sensitive? Have you ever been told that? Or maybe you've asked yourself that. Think about it for a second. Have you ever felt completely hollowed out by a sad song? Or walked into a crowded room, and instead of just seeing people, you felt like you hit this literal invisible wall of noise that nobody else even seemed to notice? The most exhausting part of this experience isn't just the intensity, it's that everyone around you seems completely fine.
Really dive into this. Because the truth is, you don't just experience things, you feel them all the way. Imagine the last time you were in a group setting. Someone says something even slightly harsh, or the mood in the room shifts just a fraction. You catch it instantly, long before anyone else does. You feel a tension hiding right under the small talk. It's like you absorb the energy of that room the exact same way a weather instrument picks up on barometric pressure drops, automatically and completely. And because others don't notice it, you end up spending the night wondering if you're the problem. You wonder if you're just being too much. Science of high sensitivity, it's not a flaw, it's hardware. So right off the bat, this deep, relentless sensitivity, it's not a disorder. And it is absolutely not a weakness or something broken that needs fixing. We are talking about a fundamentally different nervous system here. Back in the 1990s, psychologist Elaine Aron identified a specific trait called high sensitivity. What this means, practically speaking, is that your brain literally processes sensory and emotional information at a much deeper depth than average. It's hardware. Your biological hardware allows you to notice more layers, more texture, and way more meaning. Where someone else looks at a dinner party and sees a simple conversation, you see a conversation plus the 15 different emotional undercurrents running right beneath it. That isn't weakness, folks. That is incredible depth. Here is the really crucial point. You aren't some rare anomaly. 20% of people, that's 1 in 5, have this trait. So it's not rare at all. But I know, it feels incredibly isolating. Why? Because the other 4 people in that room are usually just louder, more comfortable in the noise, and vastly more unbothered by everything. And since they're the majority, you kind of just assume something must be wrong with you. But as the research clearly shows, nothing is wrong with you. You literally just have a higher processing capacity. But of course, that depth comes with a cost. Which to part 2, a high-resolution nervous system beyond just emotions. This high processing power doesn't just apply to your emotions. It applies to your entire physical reality. Bright lights, loud noises, scratchy fabrics, hunger, fatigue, or even a sudden change in plans. For someone with this trait, these don't just register as minor annoyances, they land fully. It's like your signals are being received at 4K resolution while everyone else's hardware is built for standard definition. This is where the friction happens. We live in a world that's practically designed for speed, for noise, for surface-level interactions. It is not designed for people who feel at this high frequency. Because of that, you spend a lifetime learning to turn yourself down. You smile when you're completely overwhelmed. And when those feelings inevitably pile up, society loves to slap labels on you. Anxiety, overthinking, being dramatic. But the reality is, you are just sitting in a traffic jam of your own unprocessed feelings, waiting for them to clear out, trying to operate high-resolution hardware in a low-resolution world. The evolutionary advantage, the original design. What if being this sensitive isn't a bug in your wiring at all, but the actual original design? Get this trait exists in almost every social species on Earth. Birds, fish, primates, humans, you name it. In ancient human groups, highly sensitive individuals served a very specific ancient function. They were the ones who noticed danger first. They sensed those microscopic shifts in the environment way before they became visible to the rest of the pack. They read group dynamics accurately when everyone else was distracted. In ancient times, you were never considered too much. You were absolutely essential for the survival of the tribe. The real problem isn't that you feel deeply. The problem is simply that our modern world has lost its patience for it. Here's the amazing part. This ancient survival skill translates into a modern superpower. Your sensitivity isn't just a receiver that passively absorbs tension, pain, and noise. It is also a powerful transmitter. The exact same depth that makes you absorb the heavy stuff is what makes you capable of the kind of profound connection most people spend their entire lives searching for. You love harder, you listen better, you truly see people in ways that make them feel less invisible and way less alone. I want you to take a moment and really think about this. Who made you feel most understood? Think about the people in your life who have made you feel truly, completely seen. Were they the loud ones, the unaffected ones who just breezed through the world without leaving a mark? Or were they the ones who felt things? The ones who understood what it was like to carry something heavy and yet still showed up for you? Yeah, you already know the answer. How to carry it better, building a life for your intelligence. So forward, the goal isn't to fix yourself or somehow learn to feel less. The goal is to build a life that actually accommodates your hardware. First up, build space. This doesn't necessarily mean living in total silence, but you need room to process and decompress from the constant stimulation of being so fully present all the time. Second, be selective. Protect your environment, the relationships you invest in, and the noise you allow in. You aren't fragile, you're just finally being honest about what it costs you to live at full volume. And third, stop the performance. You do not have to convince everyone you are fine. You don't have to apologize for needing some quiet. And most importantly, you don't have to shrink your rich inner life just to fit into spaces built for people who barely even notice they have one. You may have spent years thinking this was just a phase, maybe hoping you'd one day learn to care a little less and finally find some peace in the numbness that everyone else seems so comfortably numb in. But the absolute truth is this: the world doesn't need more people who feel less. It already has plenty of those. What it actually needs, what it has always desperately needed, are people with the courage to keep feeling everything, even when it costs them something. People exactly like you. Stop waiting to become someone who feels less deeply. Acknowledge your profound intelligence, protect your energy, and start becoming someone who carries it better. After all, if your sensitivity was built to protect humanity, what could you achieve if you finally started protecting it?